Hi friends, I thought today I'd give you a few different breakfast options. Now, breakfast in our house tends to be pretty boring. We tend to eat the same thing pretty much every day, or variations on the same thing. But sometimes I do like to mix things up a bit and make something a little bit different, especially on the weekend. I like to make a treat. And I also want to try and include as much protein as I can, especially in these cold months. I feel like we need to have a protein rich breakfast to get us through the cold morning, help us to concentrate and just keep going. And two of my boys, as you know, if you've been watching my videos before, have got food allergies, and I'm actually trying to get them on a diet at the moment, which is going to hopefully help to heal their gut and get rid of some of those allergy symptoms. So I'm really trying to cut out as much carbohydrate as I can in their diet and increase drastically the amount of protein that they're eating. So I'm going to show you today some of the different options that I've been making recently that go down a treat with my family, and hopefully I'll give you some ideas to try in your kitchen this week. The first recipe I'm making today is an apple oat muffin with sourdough discard. So this recipe is not low carb. It's the only one today that is not going to be low carb. But it does have lots of delicious fruit in there that provides texture and fibre and vitamins. It has oats that give you protein. Eggs and milk provide protein too. And it's just such a filling, delicious breakfast option that we've really been enjoying recently. So you saw me grating some apples. Now I just like to grate the whole thing with the skin on. I buy organic apples, so that's an option for me. If your apples are not organic, then I would recommend that you peel them. But I like to keep the skin on because it does provide a lot more nutrition and also some more texture to those muffins. So into this batter, I'm putting some sourdough starter, so it can be discard or active starter, eggs, vanilla extract, oats, whole wheat flour, cane sugar, neutral flavoured oil, so I use avocado oil, milk, salt, baking powder, some apples, some ground cinnamon, ground cloves, and some allspice. And this mixes together so easily. The batter is quite runny, so you don't even need to get the stand mixer out. You can just mix it by hand. It's very, very, very easy to make and comes together in just a few minutes. You can get the principal recipe for this over on the blog candleinthekitchen.com, and don't forget to let me know in the comments if you try this recipe out. Now, if you're very sensitive to gluten, you can leave this to ferment in the fridge overnight, and that will add even more flavour, and it will also help with digestibility of the oats and the flour. I will put a link to this recipe in the description box below. It's not a gluten-free recipe, but I will include the recipe for my gluten-free apple cake, which you can try. It's also very good. It's more of a dessert than a breakfast food, but if you're gluten-free, you might like to try that out. Now, this recipe gives a very moist muffin, which is absolutely delicious, but don't expect it to rise too much. There's a lot of liquid in there, so it does stay quite small. And if you're unsure as to whether or not it's cooked, you can use a metal skewer, prick the muffin with it, and if it comes out clean, then that means that the muffin is cooked through. Now I'm on to another recipe on the blog. These are low carb, 4-ingredient pancakes, and they're a special kind of pancakes that are really good for the diet that my boys are on. So it's called the GAPS diet. I'll put a link in the description box below if you want to check it out. There are 4 ingredients to this, as the name suggests. There's peanut butter, there's butternut squash puree, There's banana and there's eggs. You can add some extras in there. You can add a little bit of salt or some cinnamon or some vanilla if you like, just to make it even tastier. But my boys really enjoy it just plain with those 4 simple ingredients. So basically, I prepare the butternut squash puree probably every week, every 2 weeks, something like that. Then I will freeze it in silicone muffin tins. So these muffin tins, I realise, are about half a cup volume. So that's really good. I get a half a cup of butternut squash puree. I know exactly how much I'm using. I can just take the portion out that I need from the freezer, defrost it, and use it in these pancakes or in other recipes the next day. Now this recipe really couldn't be any simpler. You just put the ingredients in a blender and then mix it until it is completely smooth. I like to use coconut oil to fry these because, again, my boys are allergic to dairy. But if you're not allergic to dairy, then it would be really good fried in butter. So I take a cookie scoop, this is the larger size, and I will put a dollop of the mixture onto the pan. You need to spread them out quite a lot because they're difficult to turn. And I will just swirl the top down so that it flattens out a little bit. You don't want them to be too thick, otherwise it won't cook through. Now you need to have the heat on medium high to start with and then turn it down to medium low. Because these pancakes do have a tendency to burn, you need to keep an eye on them because they really do cook quickly. So keep an eye on them. When they start to go a little bit brown, when they're solid on the bottom, you can flip them over and cook the other side for a minute or 2. So these pancakes are really not the same as normal pancakes. There's no flour in there, there's no rising agents. So it ends up being a very dense pancake, and it can sometimes stay liquid in the middle if you don't have the heat down low enough so that it cooks through completely. So my boys really enjoy these, but just be aware they are not the same as normal pancakes. Super healthy, super delicious, especially with a drizzle of honey and a little bit of butter if you can. Now, I wouldn't be a true English woman if I didn't show you an English breakfast, or a fry-up as we call it. So I've got here some bacon that me and my husband tried to make ourselves. Now please, if you know how to cure bacon at home, please let me know in the comments. We gave it a go and it wasn't a complete success. It was pretty good. The taste is definitely there and the meat was such good quality that it does taste really good. But we couldn't cut it properly. We couldn't get those nice rashers. If you have any tips or tricks for that, can you let me know in the comments? I'd love to learn from you. So a British fry-up is generally bacon, sausage, I didn't have any sausage today, and eggs. Then you can add other things like some fried tomatoes, some fried mushrooms. One thing that I used to really enjoy, but I don't so much anymore, is fried bread. That is a very unhealthy option, but anyway, that does happen sometimes in England, fried bread. Baked beans sometimes as well. So for this day, I'm just putting on there some bacon, some mushrooms, some tomatoes, and I'm going to make some scrambled eggs. Now, I wanted to tell you that these were the best ever scrambled eggs because my husband really does make delicious scrambled eggs, and I've never tasted any better than the ones that he makes. And I thought I'd show you how he did it. Turns out I don't know how to make scrambled eggs as well as he does, so I shall have to get him on here at some point so he can show you how to make best ever scrambled eggs. I think it's because I'm not a very patient person, and so I always find it takes too long and I turn the heat up and then it cooks too quickly. So the real secret for the really good scrambled eggs is to cook them low, very, very low, and just keep on stirring them so that they don't go too hard on the bottom. It does take a long time, like I would say 10 to 15 minutes, maybe even longer than that. So you've definitely got time to cook your bacon and your vegetables while the scrambled eggs are cooking. These scrambled eggs are getting there now. They're still runny, they're nearly done. We really like them when they have that kind of runny texture to them and they just taste so creamy and delicious. Now this last breakfast option is possibly my favourite, and it is also extremely easy. So it's homemade yogurt, and I will put a link in the description box below for my recipe for homemade yogurt, and I will also link at the top of your screen a video I did to show you how to make it with different methods, either in an oven, an instant pot, or in a yogurt maker. And what I like to do with this yogurt is to just put some fruits and nuts on the top. Now today I only had dried fruit available, I didn't have any fresh fruit, but you can obviously put fresh fruit on there as well. I love it when it's in season. I love to have strawberries and blueberries in there too. This makes a really filling, high protein, delicious breakfast that I really, really enjoy. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen today. I hope I gave you some ideas for some different breakfast options you can try for your family. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. I make a video every week on homemade food from scratch, allergy-friendly meal ideas, and lots of sourdough. I'll see you next time. Bye!